Howdy folks, and welcome back to what I'd call an incredibly distraught video on such an incredibly fun topic. Wow, don't we just love talking about disgusting people in communities damaging kids' minds with their disgusting content. Today, we're going to be discussing BlogTheGreatRouge and their years of criminal content, basically, that has somehow gone unnoticed until the past few months, so people have finally realized that maybe drawing this type of stuff just isn't okay and shouldn't be presented to kids or marketed with kids games and kids characters and kids stories. But yeah, if you're a fan of Undertale, you've probably heard of BlogTheGreatRouge, a 20-year-old artist who's been an adult since the start of joining this community and has, despite that, made some incredibly disgusting content, including incestuous art, predatory relationship artwork, and also just straight up porn of underage characters. But we'll get into all of it because it's all absolutely disgusting, and as of being notified about it in my server, I decided I just simply had to cover it, as there's no way I'm gonna pass up an opportunity to highlight how this type of content gets involved in kids games and nobody talks about it. This stuff is way different to this porn content being separated to its own private area on sites that kids shouldn't access, because this content is readily available, marketed towards kids through kids games, and promotes very toxic, unhealthy behaviors towards kids. But before we begin, if you're new to the channel or haven't already for some reason, in which case I'm going to have a breakdance, if you could subscribe to the channel, that would be highly appreciated. I'm aiming for 30,000 subscribers in the next year, which given we're already at 27k and I gain 8k subs a month at the moment, it's gonna happen soon, and thank you. Genuinely thank you. It's been one of my childhood dreams to hit 30k, and I've never in my life ever thought I'd get there. Although I used to say as a kid, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a big YouTuber one day, I never actually thought about it. I never actually thought about being in the position I am in now, where I can consider myself a big content creator and can consider my childhood dreams things that are plausible and almost basically guaranteed at this point. Thank you. That doesn't mean I can't sell out to you just that little bit more though, so my Discord, Twitter, Instagram, all my other social media where you can see more of me will all be linked down below. We're arriving upon around 3,000 Twitter followers now, which is insane, and there are about 500 members from 2,000 in my Discord server, so if you want to go over to those platforms respectively and support me to get to see more of me, I post some incredible tweets like these, so if that does sound like something you'd be interested in, do check me out on those platforms. I'm sure you'll just enjoy getting to see more of me, and in my Discord server you can always communicate with me by pinging me or DMing me. With that being said though, I'd like to put a few trigger warnings at the start of this video, that being predatory behavior, beginning with the GR word, incest, sexual assault, and topics relating to the R word that I also can't say for, you know, Big Susan reasons. Alright, now I've basically deafened your ears with this overload of information all compressed down into 3 minutes. Let's get right into the disgusting behaviors that BlogTheGreatRouge has presented in recent times. And before you even mention it, I am going to also address their posts where they claim that this is all just kawaii art style, because there is one piece in particular that definitely isn't just kawaii art style and is just straight up absolutely disgusting, which you'll see towards the end of the video. Alright, let's get into it. To begin, I'd like to grab you by your feet, tip your expectations on their head, and make you want to cry by mentioning the incestuous relationships that can be seen in some of the BlogTheGreatRouge comics, including a dad dating a stepchild, which I know people will be like, step-siblings isn't incest. Yeah, it is, because it's still the parental relationship, and it's still the intent behind it, a parent or parental figure dating someone they act as a guardian for. This was seen in one of BlogTheGreatRouge's comics, where they for some reason just included the dad dating a child as a plot point, which is disgusting. But there's also some other points like this, where they write this into one of their comics. What made you consider it okay to put "I'm in love with my uncle" as a panel in your story comic about a family? And this isn't written by a kid that simply doesn't comprehend this sort of thing and possibly sees this as just a acceptable thing. This is written by someone in their 20s as of writing it. This is intentional incest, which BlogTheGreatRouge tries to excuse in their Twitter post and Tumblr post, where they basically say, no guys, I've always been against incestuous relationships. Well, clearly not, considering this panel. But here's for the batter up and home run. Predatory behavior. Yay! Isn't that just a fun topic on this channel that gets seen in more videos than I'd like to? BlogTheGreatRouge, for some reason, decides to write a lot of predatory relationships into their stories. Now, you could excuse this as just a one-time thing, or with the excuse that it's just fiction, but with this being a kid's game and kids' characters that are being tailored towards a kid audience with the art style, it should be taken very seriously, as kids can be influenced by these sort of things into behaving in similar ways. There's this panel in particular where they build up this relationship and flirty kind of situation between these two characters, and when one of the characters asks the age of the other character, they are 12. Why would BlogTheGreatRouge write a relationship where the 12-year-old is saying sexual things towards an adult? I don't know. It comes across as incredibly creepy, and it feels almost maliciously written. But this genuinely isn't even the worst example of that, as there's also this whole situation right here, where they develop this kind of groomer relationship between this child, clear child, look at their design, and this adult, where they're saying that when they grow up, they'd be willing to get married, which is disgusting. If you don't know, grooming is defined by the NSPCC as when someone builds up a relationship, trust, and emotional connection with a child or young one so they can manipulate, exploit, and abuse them. And taking a child's simple lack of comprehension for the meaning of marriage and saying that another character is willing to marry them is an incredibly disgusting way to interweave grooming into one of your stories that you know is going to be seen by a lot of kids. This type of thing is not supposed to be written in any kind of fiction. This shouldn't be something that is let go or be excused in any kind of way. It makes me sickened that this wasn't discussed for years, that this type of shit was left to go under the radar, given they're literally, categorically, on the definition, writing grooming into their stories. And the next shit I'm gonna bring to your attention will gouge your eyes out, or maybe you'll do that for me, given what you're about to see. They, for some reason, and I'm talking about BlogTheGreatRouge here, has, for some reason, wrote sexual assault into some of their stories. For example, with this piece here, where they say, and quote, Jasper, who's pretending to be drunk, is trying to make Suave actually drunk so he can have his way with him without his butler fighting back. This is categorical sexual assault, and quite definitely could fall under the umbrella of the R word, which is disgusting. And before you ask if it just ends here with this one panel, no, there's this panel here, where they are taking advantage, as far as I can tell, of someone that is drunk and sexually assaulting them, which is fucking disgusting. Why would an adult write this into their story, especially a story, again, of kid characters that's going to be tailored towards kids because of the art style? But given this person drew literal R word, look at this piece, this piece is genuine categorical R word, I wouldn't put it past this author to just basically draw actual sexual assault without any boundaries at all. Oh wait, they actually have. Let's look at this lovely piece here, where they take a friend that wants to be a friend, doesn't want anything more from this relationship, and makes another character sexually assault them and force them into a sexual act, while saying the following: "Let me see you calling me friend after this. Go on, say it." A fucking adult wrote this and marketed it with their design towards kids. This is fucking unbearably disgusting, and I genuinely hope that they learn how fucking wrong this shit is. It makes me feel uncomfortable that an adult would write this type of stuff, including, like, this type of behavior in one of their comics. And, as far as I can tell, this character is underage. If you look at this piece here, they say, "Mommy, something's wrong with me," and then the other character replies, "So you finally hit puberty," implying that this character is under the age of puberty and is thus a child being drawn by BlogTheGreatRouge in a sexual scenario, aka constituting the drawing of child, you know the word, I'm not saying it. I will link Dreary Dreamer's video down below where they go more in depth on this and explain the whole P-word argument behind this, because it's there and there's a lot more to go into when discussing the fact that this character is designed to be a child, is intended to be a child, and is, by all intents and purposes within this story, a child, which is fucking disgusting. But this isn't where this disgusting story even ends between this sexual assault scenario, as for some reason, Rouge writes this whole section where the assaulter tries to take their own life, and then their victim comes and saves them, and the predator then guilt trips them into believing that they wanted this, and tries to make them seem like the person that wanted this type of suicide, leading to the victim saying that they're happy that they got R-worded by this person. I am completely serious. They wrote in a segment where the victim says they're happy they were sexually assaulted and that they love the person that sexually assaulted them. Why would you write this in a story? Genuinely, I mean this with all its sincerity. Go fuck yourself if you believe this is an okay thing to include in any type of story, let alone a story tailored towards kids. Oh, and also this stunner of a line where for some reason BlogTheGreatRouge wrote the words "the past is in the past" in reference to the literal sexual assault that occurred in their story just a few panels prior. What the fuck? All of this shit by itself would be absolutely fucking disgusting on its own and would be completely reprehensible without any more to add onto the top as a nice little cherry on the cream of fucking pain and torture, but this is not where BlogTheGreatRouge's absolute nightmare ends. While the characters I previously mentioned weren't canonically underage, as their ages were never specified, which is obviously a smart technique from BlogTheGreatRouge to somehow try and evade any spotlight on their fucking disgusting behavior by making it seem like, because there's no actual written age, they can pass it off as just kawaii art style and that these characters are overage actually. But that really isn't the case with the next piece I'm going to show you. This next piece is of Kara from Undertale, a character canonically 12 to 14, where they depict them in a completely uncensored sexual act. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. I wish I was joking. How would you ever try and excuse this stuff on your thread by saying it's just kawaii art style when you're actually drawing a character designed to be a child in this sexual scenario? It makes me sick into my stomach looking at this piece alone. This is so fucking gross. I am hugely against anyone that believes that this isn't wrong, especially when this child is depicted in a way that looks similar to the real depiction of some kids and teenagers, which makes me feel absolutely uncomfortable. I hate this. I actually hate this. I want death. I want death. But in conclusion, BlogTheGreatRouge is a disgusting artist who, for years, somehow got away with drawing artwork of literal child characters in sexual scenarios, created their own stories involving sexual assault, incest, and a whole plethora of other things, including racism, etc, 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 which I'm not even going to touch on because I simply don't have the time to, and you could watch a Dreary Dreamer video, or a Streamline Workshop video, to go more in depth on that stuff, but their videos were simply way too long. I felt like this information could be condensed into a much smaller, more compact video, and that's why I made this one, just highlighting the key points behind everything, instead of including all the extra screenshots that simply weren't necessary. But basically, if you have to gather anything from this whole situation, it's that BlogTheGreatRouge is an artist that shouldn't be supported to any extent, and if everything claimed against him is completely true, as obviously there's always going to be benefit of the doubt from me, I'm always considering the chance that these are not real. This is always going to be an allegation in my mind till they admit to it. In my mind, you should not support BlogTheGreatRouge. They are clearly an artist that draws the type of media that would be impactful and harmful towards kids, and they've very clearly highlighted how dangerous their stories can be, from subject matter to otherwise. And as such, I'm just gonna throw up in my mouth that an adult past their 20s is drawing this shit of kids. If you have enjoyed this video or felt that it informed you in any way on the above topics and helped you get to know the truth behind BlogTheGreatRouge in a condensed and informative, but fun and helpful, just to an extent, way, please do leave a like on this video. It would mean a lot. It would mean that this video gets to more people's recommended, which you can also help doing by commenting. But also, you could subscribe to the channel. If you would subscribe to help me hit 30k, I would genuinely appreciate that a lot. These videos take a lot of research, a lot of work, and it's 7 AM, I want to sleep. So if you could just subscribe, that would be highly appreciated, and would mean a lot to me, genuinely. I try to reply to all comments from people that watch the whole way through, so if you watch the whole way through, comment icky, and I'll reply to your comment. But with that being said, other social medias down below, go check them out, go support me on those platforms too. That would also highly be appreciated as I'm trying to grow those up. And your support there would mean that you'll get notified every time I upload, like a ping on my Discord server, or if you turn on notifications on my Twitter, you'll definitely be notified without fail there. But you can also turn on notifications on the channel if you want to do that. But with that being said, final thing, if you want to financially support these videos so I can invest in future videos, future equipment, all that shit, please do just go down below. There's a join button, just says join. You can donate as minimal as $1 or as high as like $10 if you want, just to support me. Or I have a Patreon Ko-fi down below if you want to donate more than that, or you can donate in monthly factors, which would be really appreciated. Genuinely really appreciated. Thanks to everyone who's already donated to help support these videos. And with that being said, I'll see you next time. Peace.
Says she wanna rock with it like me. I'm a stylish guy. Spend a little guap with it like me. We can catch a fly. Says she wanna rock with it like me.